This week we're talking about the camp stoves. I've got a few options here. This is my new one, obviously, the Campmaster Ultralight Hiking Stove that I picked up from Kmart. It's a store that's similar to Walmart if you're over from the States. I do have a couple of existing units here to look at and do a bit of comparison with. For me, they serve a different purpose. I'll talk a little bit about that, and I'll talk about why I needed one, and they seem to be growing as I get them as well. So the biggest unit here, of course, being the Campmaster Hiking Stove. This is a copy of the jet bore hiking stove. I'm sure you're familiar with those ones. They're a pretty well-known unit. Quite a pricey unit, so I had every intention of eventually picking up one of those units. I have used them in the past and they are quite good, but always struggled with the price, to be honest. Well over $100. If you want something this size, actually, you're paying $150 or so, compared to what this was, about $50 or so. There are a similar or virtually the same unit that's available on Amazon as well. I'll see if I can find that. I'll put that in the description as well. And I think they're around the 57 or so, but don't quote me on that. You'll have to check. So let's have a look at this one first. Now, from what I can see, it does come with a set of instructions. I'll let you read those later if you like. This comes with, when I compare it actually to this bag, it comes with a much better quality bag. So the only thing is doesn't seem to be a lot of space in the bag. Big enough, obviously, for the unit that it's carrying, but it doesn't give you a lot of space if you want to, chuck anything else, like your cutlery and that sort of stuff. Now, we get that off. And the first thing you'll notice, that comes with like a neoprene sleeve. So this is the same stuff that's made out of your wetsuit material. Handles there that coated in silicone, obviously to make it easier to grab and handle. It is, I have used these. I had a mate who actually had one of these, and I used it a few weeks ago. We did a bit of a test run compared to a couple of units to test these units. Now this one, the cheaper unit's probably about 3 minutes or so, and this was probably about 2 minutes or so to boil the same amount of water, which was, I think, a couple of cups, which is roughly what you'd use for a lot of those dehydrated meals. Now this comes with a lid, whereas of course that one doesn't. And I'm pretty sure the jet bore and the Amazon one actually comes with a clear lid, which in hindsight was probably worth paying the extra $7 for. But look, that's not too bad. It does have a little slot in there for draining water or excess water. It comes with a bowl that's, I believe, obviously an eating bowl, something to eat of if you want, but I often would eat out of this unit anyway. And it actually holds the bottle as well, the gas container or canister as well. That is a jet boil canister. That is a Campmaster canister. Now, one thing I have noticed already on this is that it doesn't fit. That's the same brand as the unit. It does fit in there. We'll try and do that without making too much noise, but you won't get the lid back on. So I'm not sure if there's a better way to pack that. Now, that is twice the size of this unit, so if you're into packing light, that packs away quite nicely, and you can put it in there and there's no problems. But it's a bit disappointing that it doesn't carry the bigger one there. Now, this is the main unit that you're looking at, so it's obviously got quite a good quality jet on it. Good quality igniter. It does have the igniter switch. Now I'll take the camera off, I'll film this a little bit closer so you can have a better look at it. Handle on it's quite easy to use, bright as well, so if you are using a limited light, obviously that's going to help you out a little bit as well. This actually is designed to hook together, so obviously it doesn't rattle around. One thing I did notice is it doesn't actually come with a stand either for the unit. So not generally a big problem. Mainly with the smaller ones it might be a bit more of a problem, but not necessarily always a bigger problem. But you can buy those relatively cheap anyway. I'll see if I can find them, and I'll put one in the description as well. And that's it. So that basically, if you're not familiar with these essentially screw onto the top of these. So you will take these caps off, screw that on top, and that will sit together like that. Now, like I said, it boils it in about two or so minutes. It holds about 1 litre of water. It has got some markings in there, which is handy. And the markings go a quarter of the way. So 250, 500, 750 in 1 litre. Which, you know, to be honest, it's probably overkill. Like I could have done with a smaller one of these. But I predominantly bought this for the car and the camper. So the main reason I like this is because often you get up in the morning, you might be in a bit of a rush, or throughout the night you want to boil up some water for cleaning up and that sort of stuff. It makes a hell of a difference with one of these to be able to, you know, boil your water a lot quicker. So let's have a look at some of the other units. Now, if I unpack this and put it all back together, so we can do a better comparison. This here will fit in there, and that all goes together quite nicely. Now, if we look at this, this is the 360 degrees unit, and it's actually, the bag is not, I'm not overly impressed with it. It's quite flimsy, but look, it does hold it together. I've never had an issue. I keep this in the car, and I've never had it, you know, it's never bothered me or anything. Now, it does come with 2 units, if that's what you're after. It does make things a little bit better. The stove on this is quite chunky, but it does have a pretty good jet. So, instructions there attached. So that folds out there, that folds onto the bottle, the little gas canister, and it holds it quite nice, I find. Obviously not going to be secure like that, but it will definitely do the job. Now, that doesn't have an igniter, but it does adjust pretty good. So, you know, for simmering and that sort of stuff. Not always the easiest thing to get in. But as you can see, look, it packs down, and that does come with a little stand as well. I might hold on to that and use that in there. But as you can see, it's a little bit smaller, it's got in there, but keep in mind that this does not have the canister in there either. So, you know, obviously you're going to be carrying that as well, and the canister does not fit in there, so that's going to take well over that size anyway. This is probably my little favourite unit. So this is just a little, I don't know what you would call this, but it's from a little army disposal shop. So it's a little canteen. I don't even think it has no measurements or anything, but I've been using this for a number of years. A little sponge I made for myself, and it's got a little jet. So this is just a cheap little unit. I'm pretty sure they got these on Amazon. I'll see if I can find one for you, but it's around the $15 mark or so. Look, packs down nice and small. That's what I like about it. It does have the igniter, this one, whereas interestingly the 360 degrees ones didn't. But look, a little bit more fiddly, and you know, but if you're worried about space and if you're worried about weight, this is definitely going to be the much better unit. So like I said, I've used it for a number of years, and it's always worked quite well for me. And I'd probably still be holding on to this one, because essentially if I was going to go out on a hike, and that packs down quite small as well, but if I was going to do an overnight hike or anything like that, this is going to make things a lot easier. Now, this doesn't come with a case. I can use that case if you want, but often what I do is I just got a little Cedar Summit dry bag. I put it in there, obviously with my cutlery and that sort of stuff, and it works out quite well for me. So there you go, guys. Look, there's you know, something to compare to. you know, it really depends on your circumstances, whether weight's important, size is important. You know, if you're cooking for a couple of people, this is probably going to be better. Now, the main reason I have these now is that's my hiking set essentially, and that's my car camping set. So I keep that in the car at all times. If I ever need to boil water quickly, whether it's for drinking or anything like that, or you know, making myself a quick cup of tea or coffee, that works really well. So as opposed to that, which is a little bit clunky and you know, it takes a little bit more space. But definitely that for a hike for myself, that's overkill. I don't need anything that big. Be interesting to know what you guys you know, use or rely on. Please let us know. Give us some comments in the leave some comments for me, and let's have a bit of a discussion about it. So that's it for me today, guys. If you liked all that, or if you're interested in these sort of videos, like I said, we cover all things adventure. Please leave a like, hit that button, hit that bell too, so you can get regular updates, and subscribe to the channel. We really rely on subscribe count just to keep us going and keep us motivated. So if you love all this, love to see you again. Thanks guys for joining me. See you next week.